What's up, folks? This is Josh back here from Inside Wrestling Truth. It's that time of the week again to do a WrestleMaina review. Today we're doing WrestleMania 5. The Mega Powers explode. This is from the Trump Plaza, Atlantic City, New Jersey, the same as WrestleMania 4 now. I did some homework on this event after I watched it, and I seen where the Wrestling Observer newsletter said that this was the worst major wrestling show ever. And I just don't get that, because this was, in my opinion, a very good event. I don't know what they were looking for. I thought it was a good event. Maybe I showed some favoritism towards it because it was my first WrestleMania that I watched. But let's go ahead and review this. I'm very high on. I gave this WrestleMania a very high rating because I thought the matches in it were very good. But everybody has different opinions. So let's get on into this. WrestleMania 5. We open up Gorilla Monsoon opens. We have Rockin' Robin, the WWF Women's Champion, sings America the Beautiful. Jesse Ventura joins the broadcast. We open up with our first match. We have King Haku, who was the king then, with Bobby Heenan versus Hercules. This is when Hercules had left Bobby Heenan's. He had departed from Bobby Heenan's Heenan family. And Haku is now King Haku. A year earlier, he was in the Islanders. So we're seeing some different stuff here. But to open up the show, this match was very dull. Only gave it 2.5 stars. Hercules, his move, he was a big, strong, built-up dude, and his moves were minimum. King Haku, though, could really wrestle. I gave it 2.5 stars out of 5, though. Mean Gene interviews the Rockers, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. They make their WrestleMania debut. Then we go to the ring. We have the Twin Towers. The Big Boss Man and Hakeem versus the Rockers. This match surprised me. I thought this was a really decent match. I gave it 3 stars out of 5. Let's talk about this match a little bit. We had Power, which was in Hakeem and the Boss Man. We had Speed, which was in Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. I thought it mixed very well together to make one of those good classic 1980, late 80s, early 80s, whatever you want to call it, tag team match. The Rockers had several opportunities to win, but in the end, the power of Boss Man and Hakeem. I believe Hakeem will get the pin on Jannetty. 1, 2, 3. Also, at this time, the Twin Towers were managed by Slick, the Doctor Style Slick. I got a bone to pick with Slick. He was, I know a lot of you guys probably don't know this, but Slick is actually, he preaches in a church here in Louisville. And I tried to contact him for an interview, and he never contacted me back. Probably just thought I was some bum. But anyway, let's get on with this review. Tony Schiavone interviews the $1 Million Man. This is when Tony Schiavone come up to the WWF. He had been, working. He always worked the Georgia Championship Wrestling and later WCW. But this time he's working the WWF. $1 Million Man cuts a promo on Beefcake because they're about to have a match. We have $1 Million Man versus British Beefcake. This match surprised me. DiBiase really made Beefcake look good, and Beefcake didn't do a bad job of wrestling in this match. A lot of his matches were pretty corny, I thought, and lacked talent, but I thought this match was very good. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. Brutus Beefcake would pick up the win by count out. Beefcake would get his hedge clippers, and DiBiase wouldn't get back in the ring. But throughout the whole match, they went back and forth. They had a lot of good spots. I thought it was a good match. Really good. Then we have silly shit. I do see where people could see where some goofy shit was in this event, because there are some goofy shit in this event. We have Lord Alfred Hayes has brunch with the Bushwhackers. They're eating every kind of food that's put in front of them, and Lord Alfred Hayes is trying to do the interview, and the whole time they're trying to answer with a mouthful of food. Then we go to the ring. We have the fabulous Russo brothers versus the Bushwhackers. This match was just a clusterfuck. I give it 2.5 stars out of 5. The Bushwhackers would pick up the win. I think this is the only WrestleMania win the Bushwhackers ever had. But it was a clusterfuck. I'm going to leave it at that. There's really not a lot to talk about. The Bushwhackers would pick up the win. Then we have one of the most underrated matches, that I've seen on any WrestleMania that I never ever hear about. Let me know if you guys ever hear about this. Mr. Perfect versus the Blue Blazer, Owen Hart. You go back and watch this match. When it comes to wrestling, counter maneuvers, high fly moves, this match had it all. Mr. Perfect and Owen Hart, Blue Blazer tore it up. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5 as well. Very, very good match. Mr. Perfect would eventually pick up the win with a perfect plex, and at this time he was undefeated. He had a perfect record. Very good match though. 3.5 stars out of 5. And we would go to another silly promo. Mr. Fuji was running in this race because he's going to be in a match. He's trying to show everybody that he's in shape. Then we have the Run DMC WrestleMania rap. I guess this was just to kill time. Really didn't understand it. Then we go back. We get to see the Powers of Pain and Demolition of Mr. Fuji's history. We go to Survivor Series 88 when they had the double switch with Demolition turned face and Powers of Pain turned heel and joined Mr. Fuji. Then we go to the Royal Rumble 89. We would go to Superstars on Saturday night. We would see all kinds of problems, but just the whole history of this feud. Then when we go to a Demolition promo, Axe calls Mr. Fuji a fucking fat stuffed rat or something. They're really cutting a good promo on these guys. Then we go to the ring for a handicap 3-on-2 match. Tag team titles on the line. We have the challengers, the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji versus Demolition, Axe, and Smash. This was a good match. Demolition carried this match. I gave it 3 stars out of 5. Demolition carried this match. If Warlord never could work. Barbarian was decent, but minimum with his moveset, and he would tend to mess up some spots during matches. But I give it 3 stars out of 5, and Demolition would retain their titles. And we go to the back. Tony Schiavone tries to interview the Macho Man. Macho Man's not having it. Then we go to a match that was as boring as hell. Dino Bravo versus Ronnie Garvin. They both get in the ring, and then out of nowhere, Jimmy Snuka is introduced. Jimmy Snuka comes to the ring for like 2 seconds, and then he leaves. I don't understand why he was even part of this match. But this match was a stinker. 2 stars. Dino Bravo gets the win over Ronnie Garvin. There's really nothing to talk about in this match. We go to a tag match. We have the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard versus the Strike Force. Tito Santana and Rick Martel have been a tag team, but injuries have made them go into the singles competition. And then they will lock up as a tag team again, but on this night, thank God, this is when Rick Martel turned heel. He turned on Tito Santana. He cut a killer promo in the back with Mean Gene. I love Rick Martel as a heel. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time, in my opinion. But when he was face, it just didn't work for him. But when he turned heel, he was awesome, dude. And, of course, the Brainbusters will pick up the win, which would start the feud between Tito Santana and Rick Martel. Then we have a Piper's Pit. We have Piper's Pit with Brother Love and Morton Downey. Just a silly segment. Brother Love comes out acting like Piper, then Morton Downey comes out smoking. They have words. Piper ends up putting the fire extinguisher on Martin Downey because he blows smoke in his face. Um, then we go backstage. Mean Gene talks no holds barred with Hulk Hogan, the movie with him and Zeus, Debo, whatever you know him as. We come back. Jesse Ventura is livid because he can't believe Hulk Hogan's in Hollywood. Then we go to the Mecha Powers history. We go to see all the stuff that built up this feud. And we have a Hogan promo. We go to Hogan on one of his monstrous promos that he does where he's just going to destroy everything and all his Hulkamaniacs are going to follow him. And yeah, you know the deal. Then we have Andre the Giant versus Jake the Snake Roberts. Special guest, Big John Studd. This wasn't the best match in the world, but the whole angle was built up very well. And I liked the other things that they added in this match. That's why I went ahead and gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. I know people don't think that's high. But, it was a classic wrestling match of that time. There's a spot where they're going back and forth, and Jake acts like he's going to get the snake, and DiBiase and Virgil come out and grab the bag. Jake the Snake runs back to... Well, first off, Jake wants to bring the snake in the ring, and Big John Studd won't let him, and Andre the Giant hits Big John Studd from behind. And it distracts Big John Studd. DiBiase runs down and tries to steal the snake, but... Jake the Snake would grab DiBiase by the back of the shirt and bring the snake back in at this time. Andre is beating the shit out of Big John Studd, but this is the angle where Andre the Giant was terrified of snakes, if you remember that. Jake would throw the snake in the ring, and Andre would take off, and Jake would pick up the win by DQ. Tony Schiavone interviews Sherry. You have a sleeper tag match on here. Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine with Jimmy Hart versus the Hart Foundation. 3.5 stars. Good match. I don't know what people are talking about when they talk about how horrible this pay-per-view was. I thought it was really good. Hart Foundation would pick up the win. They would wrestle. They would do a very good match on wrestling, spots, chemistry. Everything was good in this match. But the Hart Foundation will pick up the win. Then we have the Intercontinental title match. We have the champion. No challenger. Ravishing Rick Rude versus the champion, the Ultimate Warrior. This is when Warrior was huge. I give it 3.5 stars out of 5 as well. They would go back and forth. Warrior missed up a couple spots. I will say there was a spot where he almost threw Rick Rude through the ropes. And it was supposed to be an Irish whip to the turnbuckle, but he almost went out the ropes. It was horrible. But Rick Rude carried this match. This is the infamous pin where Bobby Heenan holds onto the leg while Rick Rude pins him 1, 2, 3. Rick Rude will become Intercontinental Champion. 3.5 stars out of 5 though. They put a good match together. One of Warrior's best matches he ever had. Then the next 2 matches are just horrible. We have Bad News Brown versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I gave it 2 stars out of 5. Just nothing. A couple punches, a couple clotheslines. They go outside. Hacksaw picks up the 2x4. Bad News Brown gets his chair, and they hit each other at the same time, and it's a double disqualification. Then we go to a Red Rooster promo that was absolutely horrible. Then we go to a Bobby Heenan with a Brooklyn Brawler versus Red Rooster. This match was about 2 minutes long. Red Rooster would pick up the win. I gave it 1 star out of 5. Mean Gene enters Miss Elizabeth. And then we have the WWF title match. We have the champion Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan. I gave this match 5 stars out of 5. I just thought it was an absolutely great match. If you go back and watch this thing, the chemistry, the timing, the spots, everything that you want in a wrestling match is in this match. Hogan gets color. We all know Hogan would pick up the win and become world champion and would hold it for a year till WrestleMania 6. Macho Man put on a clinic, really put Hogan over. It's, in my opinion, one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. The Mega Powers explode. Like I said, Hulk Hogan will pick up the win. There was a lot of spots in this match where Savage will pull Miss Elizabeth in front of him, and he would try to tell her what to do. They would go back and forth, but at the end spots of this match, Savage would do the flying elbow, his finisher, off the top rope to beat Hogan. He hits the 1, they hit the 2, and Hogan does the old traditional kick out, and he hawks up on Savage, and he brings the WWF title back to him. Thought this was a fucking good event. I don't know what people were talking about. I mean, there were some bad matches in this thing. Don't get me wrong, but I gave it 9 stars out of 10. I thought it was a damn good event. I don't know what the Wrestling Observer, I don't know what they're talking about, but what I seen, that was a classic event. But next week we are going to do one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time, WrestleMania 6. But we'll just see, guys. Hope you like these reviews. I don't have many more left. But until next time, I'll see you guys, okay? Peace.